Hey YouTube, Matt here. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to share an interesting story, something that happened last Friday that never happens to me. It happens so infrequently, I can count on one hand how many times it's ever happened. And it has to do with actually losing something of dire significance. And I'm not talking about a person or a pet, but I am talking about something as vital as a smartphone, a phone. My phone went missing. And I mean, you see me smiling, but I tell you, at the time, it was not a laughing matter. So I was with my buddy on Friday. We were cruising around neighboring cities to where I live. And, you know, we were visiting some shops, going to different malls, just getting some steps in, going for a walk. And it had gotten dark around maybe 6:37. It got dark pretty early. So we were out, again, like 2 cities away. And I had my sweatpants on from the gym. And the zipper on the pants pocket was open. So it made for the phone to slide out very easily, which unfortunately it actually did. Getting into his car, he drives a car that's low to the ground. So when I got into the car, clearly I didn't even hear it or see it because of the darkness, and it was a crowded parking lot. The phone slipped out of my pocket before getting in. It was on my left side before getting into the passenger seat. And I didn't even realize it had disappeared until like I was on my way home. I was walking home from a grocery store. So we're talking about multiple stops afterwards. I had no reason to even reach in my pocket. So I didn't even know it was gone. And this was so bizarre. The phone slipped out of my pocket into his car seat before. So first thing I did was I got home, I messaged them on my computer. I said, through like another messenger app, and I said, you got to check your seats, man. My phone is gone, and I need it. I need it for everything. My contacts, work, everything's in there. So we checked, and this time he said he couldn't find it. And that, you know, right away my heart sank, and I'm like, okay, is the phone actually gone? So first thought that came to mind was, you know, it was late at night now. At this point, it was like midnight. And I said to him, okay, use your phone, call the shop, the first shop we'd gone to, see if they found it in the shop. Maybe I left it on the counter or something, which I would never do that. I would never leave my phone like out of my hands, out of my sight. So he did that, and they said they didn't see anything. So he said he'd go and check his car again, you know, give it a thorough search, because he was going to organize it, clean it. So we did that, and there was nothing to be found. So, you know, at this point, I'm not panicking, but I'm contemplating. I'm trying to rationalize not having my phone. I'm trying to think, okay, my phone is gone. Let's accept that fact. And what do I have to do to move on? So I'm thinking about, you know, a new phone, a new SIM card, reestablishing my contact list. And, you know, I'm concerned because I've got open apps on the other phone. So if security gets hacked, they can get into my, you know, personal data. And these things are running through my mind. Now, I'm using an Apple phone, and that the phone that was lost was an Apple phone, and I didn't have Find My turned on. So I'm going to share with you guys right now a very sound piece of advice. If you're using an Apple product, turn on Find My. For some reason, I had it shut off. I think I'd researched and found that if it's off, it saves battery power. That might have been the reason, but for whatever reason at this point now, it's irrelevant because I've got it turned on and I'm leaving it on. And you can link it to another Apple device, or even another Apple device belonging to a friend or family member. So at this point, if I lose anything like my Apple phone again, if I misplace it, I will have a GPS pinpoint of where it is, so I can actually like trace it without having to physically search for it, which makes it nearly impossible. So it turns out that, so I'm racing my mind, you know, my day's shot. I wake up 10 seconds later, I realize, oh, my phone is gone. This is not good. I've got that weighing down on my consciousness. And so I get a call 3 hours later into the day from my buddy, and he says that he got a call from that store. They actually went out into the parking lot and they searched, and they found it. They found it on the ground in the parking lot. It was unscathed. It hadn't rained yet. It was supposed to rain the day I had called, or he had called. So, I mean, the odds of the phone being found, we're talking like 50 kilometers away, just sitting there waiting to be found, and it was found. So my buddy raced back there, picked it up, returned it to me. I owe the guy big time for that one. That was a huge relief. I mean, talk about a shift in mood. Like, I was going from, again, I wasn't, it was such a weird feeling, you know? Like I was trying to really accept the fact that it was gone, and just trying to you know, carry on. Like, what do I have to do next to just get back, reestablish with contact, and, you know, get a working phone back in order? So that, you know, this is some serious stuff. But then miraculously having the phone returned to me, just, you know, my mood shifted from 0 to 100, obviously. And first thing I did was switch on Find My, link it to another Apple device I've got. I've got an old iPad, so I linked it up to that, and did some more research just on, you know, what I can do with, well, I was researching at the time. You can actually remotely reset the phone or erase all the data on your device if it goes missing. So through the iCloud network. So that was it was interesting to learn all that and realize that, you know, Apple does a great job with just, you know, the security features, keeping your tech private to you and making sure that no one else can really break into it. I mean, the worst case, if someone stole it, they would, from what I've read, they would just sell the parts. They'd sell them back to, you know, like China or anybody that would just take it and take the device apart and just use, you know, individual parts. But the phone is now back in my possession. I'm using it right now to film this video. I tell you, I'm shocked at the fact that it is now back in my possession. I mean, I just can't describe. This must be akin to the feeling of somebody, you know, like, I know it sounds extreme or you know, somebody winning the lottery, you know, as extreme as that might be, it must be similar in that regard, because it's just so, what are the odds? I mean, what are the odds of it having been completely left alone, not being run over, not being rained on, not being picked up and stolen or swiped, or, you know, having dropped it anywhere else except that particular spot that day? Absolutely crazy. So of course now, you know, being more mindful. And like I said, this is like, I can count on one hand how many times I've ever lost anything in my life in terms of like material possessions, because I'm very adamant about keeping things organized, keeping things in place where they are. So, I mean, you could just imagine how much that would weigh down on my own mind. just crazy. But I thought I'd share that story, and I hope all of you out there can benefit from this experience vicariously, especially, again, turning on that Find My feature, which, you know, it's truly going, if this ever happens again in the future, I'll know exactly where the device is, instead of having to backtrack. I'd run to the last place I was with my friend. We were at a bank parking lot close to home, and I blasted over there on foot just to check it out and see if the phone was there. Of course it wasn't there, but you know, just making sure I covered all my steps so that I could try and get my phone back. But yeah, I mean, again, losing material possession is incomparable to losing a person in your life, or a pet, or, you know, your home if the weather destroys it, something, you know, really extreme like that. But these tools that we carry with us, you immediately recognize the significance they play in our lives as soon as they're not available. And, you know, the phone being absolutely one of them. So just remember, guys, be careful, be mindful. And there are ways of, you know, mitigating these kinds of situations. So like I mentioned, just turn on these features. I'm not being sponsored by Apple in any way, but I am very aware now of how useful and practical this security measure is on their devices. So anyways, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will catch you next time. Stay tuned for more art video updates. I posted one recently today, so you guys can check that out. It's on 3-point perspective. It might serve your artistic needs. Otherwise, you guys have a great one, and I'll see you again for another video. Take care.